All right, everyone.
What are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about lying.
Lying.
Don't tell lies, people.
Lying's bad.
It's bad.
Gets you in trouble.
Doesn't end well. So this really got prompted from a sales summit that I was recently at.
Okay.
We had vice presidents, we had president, CEO, VPs, kind of the whole nine yards. Like
The big guns.
the big guns, right? And the founder of the company wanted to leave us with something after we had wrapped up the day.
Mm-hmm.
So he got up front and he wanted to tell us a story about when he first started the company. So he starts off by saying, I was out, I was selling, I was cold calling, I was stopping by businesses, and I came to a location. I met with a lady, super nice lady. She was awesome. And I sold her. And I said throughout my sales call, oh yeah, I can fix these. I have all the parts. I got all the parts in our warehouse.
See where this is going.
I can take care of you. Okay. So then I leave and I felt really good about it. Mm-hmm. She calls me back later that day and she says, hey, could you swing by tomorrow and come in and talk to the board? Absolutely. I'm coming. I'll be there. And I'm thinking this is just great.
Yeah.
Okay. And I come up to the building. I show up. I'm giving my presentation to the board. And they ask me towards the end, they're like, all the extra parts that you have that in the warehouse that you had mentioned. Well, that's right. I mentioned a warehouse. Shoot.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit more about like where that warehouse is located and, kind of what kind of parts you have that, if something broke, you could easily get us back up and running?
What did you do?
I was not in a good place. So he looks around and he's like, has anybody else ever said anything like this? Just a little white lie.
Ooh.
He's like,
a little bit.
I did. I didn't have a warehouse. I had to tell them that my warehouse was the back of our pickup truck. We had just gotten started.
Yeah.
We just got started. And I have, some of the parts.
Yeah.
I was familiar with what the parts were.
You have a little bit of space for those parts.
I did not have a warehouse. And that was the moment that I realized that you can't lie. And that's what he said. You can't lie. There's a big component of sales where honesty, integrity come into play.
Right.
And being honest is going to go farther.
Yep.
At the end of the day. So ultimately, he cracked a joke about, that warehouse is actually the back of my truck. I forgot to explain that. He ended up getting the account and, went on from there. But a good example for salespeople and people just in general, not to lie in order to make sales, right?
Right. It's like you don't want to sacrifice the long term for that short term, success that you're looking for.
Right.
That's just going to dig you in a hole and it's going to bite you in the ass in the long run.
So, I agree completely. It can come back around and haunt you.
Yeah.
I took a few minutes, hours really, and thought about this. Recently, this actually creeped up into my personal life.
Ooh.
Where I got burned.
Creeping.
And I was pretty ashamed of what had transpired.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about all the reasons why people lie. Mm-hmm. And I tied it into sales, but I'm going to talk about some of those reasons. And I think it can go both ways, both from a personal level and from a business level.
Yeah.
So why do people lie? I'm asking you.
Why do people lie?
Yep, I'm asking
in general?
Mm-hmm.
I think people lie for really mainly two reasons. One, they want that feel of short-term success or achievement or approval. And they're not thinking about, what the long-term detriment could be of that. And then number two, I think they just want to be a people pleaser. They want to say what that individual wants to hear. And again, not looking ahead or being upfront and honest where it might suck to tell the truth for that 5 to 10 seconds, but in the long run, it's going to be fantastic for you.
I can agree with all those reasons.
Yeah.
So what I wrote down is that most people, professionally or personally, they have an innate desire to be liked.
Absolutely.
And they want to come into somebody's good graces, right?
Yep.
And make a good impression
100%.
and be that rock star, be that sales superhero, right?
Not even like the superhero, just being like, man, they like me.
Yeah.
They like me. They're not going to like me in about 2 days when they find out that this isn't true, but they like me now.
It feels good to be liked, right?
Yep.
And then I also wrote down, from a sales standpoint, you might lie or white lie to make money.
Right.
So for instance, if I was going to sell a product or a service and customer asks, hey, we really want this to be done prior to January 1st. And you say, oh yeah, we can do that. And if you know that there's a slight chance or a chance that it's not going to be done in December, you're lying.
Then your development team or your design team's going to kick your butt.
You're almost stretching the truth.
Right.
Like, yeah, maybe we could, get that service done. But a better way to handle it is, we could do everything possible to get that done by December. However, with lead times or our current schedule, we're really booked up. It's probably looking like a late January start, or maybe even beginning of February.
So you've already, now you've set that expectation.
Correct.
Which is huge.
Setting the right expectation is crucial.
Coming from, one of my backgrounds is in the ad agency, and when clients ask you that question, how long does it take you guys to build a website? Like, what's your timeline looking like? Generally, it takes us about 90 to 120 days, again, depending on how the approval process is and how quickly you guys can get things back to us. Well, we need it done in like 2 months. It's like, well, again, now that's that point. Can you say, well, we want the job, we can do it, we don't care about the pressure capacity it's putting on our teammates, or are you going to stick to your guns and your process and your company strategy? And this is our timeline. Here's the why. And in the long run, it's going to work out well.
So that is a reason not to lie. And I'm gonna blend. I wrote down a couple of different reasons here.
Yeah, go for
as to why not to lie. One of those kind of bleeds into what you were just saying. And it's the internal negative response that you're going to get. So for instance,
explain.
Setting the timeline, right? The expectation. You've fudged the truth. You set the expectation that we're going to get X completed.
Yep.
And now you have to go back. You had mentioned your design team. You have to go back to your design team and say, hey, I just told this customer that we can have this done in 1 month, and I need you to make this happen. And they're going to look at you like,
hell no.
Why the heck would you say that? Why would you tell somebody that when you know that we can't do it?
Yep.
Or we're backed up. Or if we do it, then we have to push something else aside.
Yep.
And that's going to hurt the relationship with that other customer.
Exactly.
So another reason not to lie.
Yep.
How about blowing your shot at upsells and referrals? So we're going to go off this setting the expectation, right?
Yep.
So now you've lied to the customer. They know that you've lied. That, okay, he said X and it's not true. Okay. Are they going to refer you to somebody else? Maybe. Probably not.
Probably not.
And you can use that example across the board in any different industry.
Yeah, exactly.
Product is going to perform like this. Product doesn't perform.
Right. That's another one. Like, not timeline, but now we're getting into products.
Or service. Hey, I promise you X amount of services. You fudged. However it is. Whatever you're going to skirt around the truth about, like if they find out, chances are they're going to be upset.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Timeline, products, and services.
Right.
Don't fudge around with those. Or anything.
Just be honest.
Just be honest.
Be upfront. Build a relationship.
Yep.
So here are some of my other why not to. Your reputation. Okay. If it happens consistently, if you're in a smaller community, people are going to talk.
Yep.
One person may give another person an earful. Which,
yeah. Did Matt tell you he'll get that done for you in 2 months too? Yeah, I told that to me. Yeah, no.
Right. Again, my personal situation that transpired, which I didn't think was a big deal. white lie, right?
Yeah.
One person thought it was a big deal. That person told the other person. There was a powwow that transpired,
Spiraling out of control.
It spiraled out of control.
Yeah,
and
quickly,
it got
I bet.
way bigger than what it ever was intended to be.
Right.
My intentions weren't to lie, but
Yeah.
it wasn't the full truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes lying by omission is still a lie.
Yeah. And that can turn into habits. And like now what you're saying, those habits can either they start in your personal life or they start in your professional life, but like you just said, they do bleed into each other.
Right.
Whether it's a little white lie or any type of lie of, yeah, I'll be there in 10 minutes, and you know you're going to be about 40 minutes, but you just want that instant. Oh, great, he's going to be on time, or that person's going to be here earlier than expected, and
Right.
you know inside that it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So ultimately, I guess what I'll say is lying in general, big lie, white lie, lying by omission, it's counterproductive to your goals. It's counterproductive to the long-term success that you're going to have.
Yep.
Whether that be that innate desire for people to like you. Okay. If you get caught in that lie, those people probably aren't going to like you anymore.
Yeah.
That desire to make more money. Okay. You're losing referrals. You're losing upsell opportunities. So again, lying, not productive to the end game.
No. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like telling those little white lies, even if you don't tell it, you're waiting to tell it. So now you're procrastinating to have that conversation, whether it's in your personal or your professional life. Yeah, John, I know you have an issue with this product and you're pissed. I'll call you tomorrow morning. Not this afternoon. I'll call you tomorrow morning. So you can have that procrastination. Now tomorrow morning comes along and you might push that off even more because you got tied into a meeting or this and that. And again, those are those little white lies that, again, and that's just another example of how that can hinder you.
We could go down a rabbit hole with that.
Big rabbit hole.
Like, handle it right away.
Yep.
Take the action. Just get it done with. Get it over
Exactly.
with. Have you ever been caught in a lie and then lied again? You doubled down?
Ooh, double down. I don't
You
think
ever
so.
doubled down?
I don't
And
think
the
so.
extra work that it takes to go through and
man.
live the lie,
Yeah. No, I
it's
haven't.
awful.
Not double
I mean,
down.
don't do it. It's not good.
man.
And
I've.
it's fun though, right? Fun to think about.
It is. Whether we keep this story in the podcast or not, but a former coworker, I don't know if I've told you this one, but a former coworker of mine that I used to work with, he was at a gathering of some sort. I think it was maybe his wife's Christmas party. I think that's what it was. And somehow they got to talking, and this couple was like, "Oh, hey," I'm just going to use the name John for this example. My old coworker, "Hey, John, like, did you have a kid? How's the kids? You have a kid, right?" And he has no kids. He's like, "Yeah, I have a kid. She's 3, and her name is Jenny."
No.
And then he's like, right now, I'm way too far into this to backtrack. Now I have to go with it. And this just turned out to be this huge, long story. And she's in sports, and here's her personality.
Are you kidding me?
All of this. So the next morning at work, he's telling me the story. I was crying. He's like, "So I have a fake kid named Jenny because I told a little white lie, and then it just spiraled out of control. And like now I can't back out of it. Then I look like a doofus." It was hilarious. One of those you had to be there, but I wasn't there, and I still cried. So hopefully this makes you cry laughing. Moral of the story: don't lie. Tell the truth.
Don't tell lies.
And it's hard. It's hard to tell the truth. That's the other side of it too. That's what I was going to put back in there.
All right,
It's
let's
hard.
go.
It's
You got it.
hard to tell the truth or to have that difficult conversation. That's when you procrastinate. That's when you're going to push it off. And that's where stuff can go wrong. Like if you have, like what you said, like the things you procrastinate about, or that's at the end of your list, do those first, because then the things that are usually probably on the top of your list, that's what you want to do. But if you get rid of those other conversations first, then everything's going to be number one.
Yeah.
In a good
It'd
way.
be easy after that.
It's tough. It's tough. It takes, I don't want to say it takes practice, but once you kind of get over that mental hurdle of, all right, I'm going to have this conversation with my boss, my wife, my best friend. And then it's just, if you don't, then it lingers. You think about it every day. It's in the back of your mind. You can't enjoy you can't enjoy your days because it's always going to be stuck back there.
Don't make a habit out of it.
All right. Exactly.
So awesome.
Good stuff.
Hey, good little short episode.
That was good.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was great.
See you
Bye,
guys.
everyone. Thanks.